Whispers in the gloom, the Zodiac Killer's shadow. He was a phantom, a name whispered in fear, a mystery that has haunted generations. The Zodiac Killer. Beyond the taunting letters and the cryptic symbols, there was something deeper, colder. What drove him? What dark logic guided the hand that wrote, "I like killing people because it's so much fun"? How did he choose his victims? And why does his shadow still linger more than half a century later? To understand the terror he cast, we return to where it began, a quiet road, a young couple, and the first whisper. In the gloom. The ambush at Lover's Lane. It was a Friday night in December 1968. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen sat in their car on a gravel turnout off Lake Herman Road, a stretch of countryside the locals called Lover's Lane. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of eucalyptus and winter frost. Inside the car, laughter and teenage warmth. Two souls on the edge of adulthood, caught in a moment of innocent peace. Then headlights. Another vehicle pulled up behind them, not close enough to touch, but close enough to watch. David noticed first the way the lights stayed on, the engine humming a little too long, then silence. A door opened. A shadow moved closer, faceless, framed by the glare of its own headlights. A flashlight beam cut through the night, dancing across the windshield like an unsteady heartbeat. "Everything all right?" David called. No answer, only the light, blinding, invasive, deliberate. Then a flash of metal. Betty Lou ran, barefoot, terrified. Her breath came in gasps that seemed too loud, too human, against the stillness of the night. But the darkness was merciless. The gunshots followed. When police arrived, the cold air carried only the faint smell of gunpowder and fear. Two young lives ended not by rage or jealousy or passion, but by something else entirely, something calculated. The newspapers called it a Lover's Lane tragedy. But those who stood at that scene, they knew this wasn't random. It was a message. The lake's cold embrace. September 1969. 9 months had passed since the Lake Herman murders. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, college students, full of life and plans, had driven to Lake Berryessa for a picnic. It was the perfect day, the kind where sunlight feels endless, and the world seems incapable of cruelty. But the Zodiac preferred days like this. Days when safety felt like a promise. From across the water, a man watched them, tall, methodical, wearing a dark executioner's hood, a strange crosshair symbol sewn across his chest. He approached with deliberate calm, a pistol drawn. "Don't move," he said, his voice level, controlled. He claimed he'd escaped from a prison nearby, needed their car, their money, nothing more. For a moment, relief washed over them. A robbery, a misunderstanding. But then, the lie revealed itself. He bound them both with pre-cut lengths of rope. His movements were neat, almost surgical. Cecilia's hands shook as she tied Brian's wrists under his watchful eye. He corrected her, gently, almost politely. Then, in the daylight warmth, the mask of civility dropped. The blade rose and fell, again and again. Brian's desperate cries turned to ragged gasps. Cecilia screamed, fighting against the cords until her wrists bled. When it was over, the man walked calmly back to their car. He left behind not just two broken bodies, but a mark. On Brian's car door, he drew his symbol, a crosshair. Below it, the dates of his previous killings, and the words, Sept 27, 69, 6:30 p.m., by knife. Brian survived. Barely. Cecilia didn't. When police arrived, he whispered only one thing through his pain. He was calm. Too calm. From bullets to blades, the Zodiac had evolved. From the shadows to the sunlit surface of a lake. Who plans terror so carefully? Who kills not in rage, but in ritual? The Cipher would come next. The Samaritan sickness. A few weeks later, a college student named Sherry Jo Bates drove through a quiet stretch near her campus. Her car stalled. The engine coughed, then died. She didn't know it yet, but someone had already been there. Someone who'd tampered with her car and waited. A man stepped out, ordinary, polite, even helpful. He smiled, said he'd noticed her distress, and offered to help fix the issue. He talked easily, joked a little, made her feel safe. It was almost comforting how normal he seemed. He finished the repair, told her to drive carefully, and left. For a moment, she exhaled, relieved. But the relief was short-lived. A mile down the road, her car failed once more. When she stepped out, the realization hit like a blow. The lug nuts were loose. He had done this. His car appeared again, headlights cutting through the dark like eyes. No smile now, no friendliness, only a slow, deliberate approach. What followed remains uncertain. Her body was later found near an alleyway, strangled, beaten, stabbed. A torn page from her life left behind as another riddle. The police couldn't prove it was the Zodiac, but the signature, the calmness, the premeditation, the manipulation, it was all there. A new kind of predator had emerged. Not the hunter who stalks, but the Samaritan who offers help before the strike. He didn't just kill with violence, he killed with trust. The Final Fare, San Francisco, October 11, 1969. A city alive with noise, light, and motion. But even in a city that never sleeps, there are streets where silence lingers longer than it should. Paul Stine, a taxi driver, husband, father, drove those streets every night. He'd seen it all. The drunks, the dreamers, the lonely wanderers searching for home. At the corner of Mason and Geary, he picked up a passenger, ordinary man, neat, composed. He asked for a ride to Presidio Heights, a routine fare, nothing more. As the cab rolled through the quiet, upper-class neighborhood, Paul likely thought of home, his wife waiting, the comfort of a warm kitchen, the promise of rest after a long night. But then, "Here's fine," the man said. Paul stopped the car. The man leaned forward, not to pay, not to thank him, but to raise a gun. Paul slumped forward, his final breath misting the windshield. The passenger, calm, deliberate, reached over, wiped down the door handle, and tore away a small piece of Paul's bloody shirt. Moments later, 3 teenagers across the street witnessed him walk away, not running, not panicking, just walking, a phantom fading into the night. When police arrived, they first believed it was a robbery gone wrong. But the next day, a letter arrived at the San Francisco Chronicle. Inside, a piece of the shirt, proof, and a message that began, "This is the Zodiac speaking." He mocked them, described their movements, bragged about their mistakes. He knew the investigation's details before they did. He was watching, always one step ahead, or perhaps just close enough to see the fear he caused. The city's heartbeat changed after that night. Taxi drivers looked twice in their mirrors. Police checked every call, every rumor, every cipher. But the Zodiac remained faceless. His letters grew more theatrical, part confession, part performance. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted the world to watch. And watch, they did. The Phantom's legacy. His words became his weapon, the newspapers his stage, the people his audience. He boasted of body counts no one could confirm, claimed victims no one could find. Each letter a new taunt, each cipher a new riddle. One cipher read, "I am waiting for a good movie about me." Another, "My killing tools have become slaves for me." The words weren't just arrogant, they were surgical. He knew how to manipulate fear, how to make society itself part of the story. While police pursued thousands of leads, interviewed suspects from all walks of life, one truth remained: the Zodiac was never caught. Not then, not now. His letters stopped. His shadow faded from the newspapers. But in the quiet corners of history, his presence still lingers like a stain that refuses to be washed away. Who was he? A man of intelligence, craving recognition? A narcissist, playing God with fear? Or something else, something darker, colder, a reflection of the void within us all? Some say he died long ago, taking his secrets to the grave. Others believe he walked among us for decades, ordinary and unremarkable. And maybe that's the most terrifying thought of all, that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes, it wears the face of a neighbor who was never found, never identified, only remembered as a whisper in the gloom. The Zodiac case remains one of the darkest puzzles in American history, a story without an ending, a riddle without a key. But even as the years pass, one truth endures: some mysteries never sleep. This has been called Unsolved Mysteries Trail, where every shadow has a story, and every story leads us deeper into the unknown. Thank you for watching. If this journey into the darkness intrigued you, Don't let the trail go cold. Like, share, and subscribe to stay with us as we uncover more of the world's most chilling unsolved mysteries.